Vernon Felton. I'm a senior editor at Bike Magazine. We're at the Kingdom Trails in Eastbrook, Vermont. Today we're checking out GT's Sanction Pro. The Sanction is GT's enduro bike. Last year it came back as really just a frame only. We were kind of hoping they'd offer some complete builds. This year they're offering 3 builds. We've got the middle of the road build. It sells for $4,340. What'd you guys think of the bike?
It's a brawler. I'll say that much.
I wasn't going to say brawler, I was going to say a bruiser.
Bruiser, brawler.
Brute.
Yeah. All of those things.
Brawny.
Lots of
B's.
It's brrrr.
Okay, elaborate. What's that mean?
Oh, jeez, it's we had a Sanction Pro last year, and I struggled with that a bit. And this year we were riding terrain that was in many ways tighter for a lot of it, but we had berms and compressions and jumps, and it's a big long bike, but it's built like a brick shit house, and you can it's like a barge, and I do not mean that in any way negative. You just point it wherever the hell you want to go, and it just sucks it all up. We look talking about the bikes that are here in the all mountain category, and some tend more towards the trail end, and some tend more towards like mini gravity sleds, and this is definitely in that latter camp. It's got a 36 fork on it, and you can just point it down anything at all without any fear of consequence.
Yeah, I mean, essentially it's a mini Fury, isn't it?
It's exactly it. Yeah, they took their design cues from their downhill bike when they built it. They said that when they made an enduro machine, they didn't want to make a really slack all mountain bike. They wanted to make something that was more gravity focused. And this is the same frame that their pro riders are racing in the Enduro World Series.
Yeah.
They're positioning this as sort of like the bike for privateers, right? Sort of like a reasonable build. It's primarily Shimano XT, some SLX brakes. As you pointed out, it's got a Fox 36 fork up front, the Float-X and rear shock. Do you guys think that that's a fair statement, that this is like a good bike for privateer kind of enduro racers, aspiring folks?
It'll last you a long time. It has a really stout, reliable feel to it. You look closely at all the links, and everything is nothing on it is spindly. I mean, that big wonking main pivot down there. I mean, I'm always nervous when I see something with the name iDrive on it, because they've reached pretty far sometimes and missed what they've grasped. This one, so the whole idea with the iDrive is generally to try and limit chain growth. Right? Yeah. So and this one does it. I would almost say conservatively. I took the shock out and kind of cycled the rear end and looked at what happened, and you didn't see that bottom bracket moving, 20-25% as far as the rear end would. Like it stayed relatively planted, and that made it still plenty supple on the downhills, but the thing didn't climb bad. I mean,
no, it doesn't climb bad. I mean, it is a pretty heavy bike.
It's about 32.5 pounds.
And it's a pretty long bike.
It's actually one of the longest ones on test. It's something like 47.8 inches, the wheelbase.
Yes.
Just plenty long.
Yeah. I think you were saying, is it a bike for a privateer racer? I think it's a great bike for a racer, but enduros have gone through a bit of change in the last year or two. And it's a rapidly evolving sport, and it seems that this year was the year of, yes, huge gravity stages, but also punishing climb liaisons. And I think in this instance, you want to be a strong privateer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it climbs okay, it climbs with dignity, but I'm a weak little man, and I did not enjoy climbing this bike as much as some of the others that were here.
It's one of the few bikes on test that has a Fox 36. What did you guys think of their choice on suspension components?
I thought they were great.
Yeah, it's pretty unbeatable.
Yeah, very, very plush bike, very, very stable. The suspension actually worked really well, I thought.
How about other component choices? Could they have done something better on any other spec?
I think the wheels don't do well to keep up with the rest of the frame's durability.
It has a set of stands on it.
Yeah, and it's a stands. It's one of their OEM rims. It has a 21 millimeter inner width on that rim.
Right, that was wide about 4 to 5 years ago.
Yeah. For what the bike is aimed at and what it's capable of, I would have been fine affording a little bit of extra rotational weight to have something that holds the tire a little more firmly.
So is there anything else that could be improved on the bike?
I don't know if this is so much something you could approve, but, you know, a caveat may be, it is, you know, we talked about it being a bomber of a bike, and it's a big, long bike. In, you know, people who live in really tight terrain, places that are, you know, this isn't gonna be the bike that's gonna really appeal to someone who wants to be a single track trail rider anyway, but it is a big, long bike, and it's very well composed, and it's very dignified and stable in how it handles, and you can throw it around, but in really tight terrain, you're gonna have to throw it around a bit. You're gonna have to muscle it and move it around, because it's a big, long plank.
Yeah, and I mean, that kind of leads to the question, you know, who's the ideal rider for this thing? And yeah, I mean, people who like going downhill more than up, and people who are not afraid to, you know, suffer the climbs, maybe walk a bit.
People who like going down elevator shafts.
Yeah, I mean, this would be a great BC bike. It's long, and it'd be super stable on really steep stuff, carved through the loam. I mean, I feel like it'd be really great for there.
Pretty good mini park bike as well.
Mini park bike, yeah. I mean, I think it's versatile in the gravity centric.
In the heavy spectrum.
Yeah, most bikes in this category don't pay a lick of attention to their climbing ability, and this one, it seems like they did. They make it as comfortable a climber as they can for how capable it is.
Right.
Fair enough. Hey, if you guys want to know more about this bike, you can go to our Buy Low Bike Test issue. You want to see more bike test videos, go to bikemag.com.